Hello, and welcome to Confidently Wrong, a show by regular dudes talking with confidence about content we have no right to speak about with any kind of authority, but do it anyway. I'm Wesley Nakamura, and as always, I'm joined by Mike Smith, award-winning director Brian Redondo, and Savon Jones, aka Captain Vonnie. This is episode 71, and we're going to dabble in some PS5 news. Alexis, you can stop listening after the first 10 minutes. For everyone else, I'm confident that it's going to be the best show you've ever listened to, and well, hey, if it's not, you can always ask us for a refund.
Incredible!
Welcome back to Confidently Wrong. We have the full crew with us. Mike, you didn't have another wedding to go to today?
Thank God. Thank God. I love all my friends, but if any of them are listening, save you $200 and save me $1,500 and just don't invite me to your wedding.
Got him.
How much do we have to pay Mike for his feature today?
I don't know.
What's his cost?
He
What's
like
his
Lil
fee?
Durk these days.
I have... you know what? It's fine. It's warranted. It's fine.
That boy
You
been
did
out-
miss.
he
You
out
did
on
miss
bail
like 6 out of
Young
8.
Thug.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
Scarcity increases
6
demand.
out of...
He knows what he's doing.
You
I
didn't
think
get
I think you missed 2 in a row,
We-
and then we got you for 2, and then you missed 2
No
again.
way.
I think
No
that's how it went.
frickin' way.
I'll go back and check.
All right, well, I'm
It's-
back.
You're back. We're
I'm here.
excited. Welcome.
Loud and proud.
Welcome. He's in his man cave. It's all set up. We've seen
It's
the
an
pictures.
office. It's
Mike
an
has-
office.
it's an
It is
office.
not a
Right.
I have never called it a man cave.
Oh, I thought you
I am-
did.
No, it's an office.
It's got a
It's
couch
a
in it.
man
You can
cave.
call it what you want. It is what it is.
There is 1 to 3 hours of work done in here daily. So
that sounds like an
qualifies
office.
as an office.
It's Mike's space. Let's just call it that. It's Mike's space. We've been getting pictures and updates on it. It's looking really dope. He's got a big screen on the wall. He's got his L-shaped desk. He's got his new mic. He bought a new mic for Mike.
So you
Mike
can
bought
hear
a
me
new mic.
clearly with
Yeah.
no sibilants.
We're gonna see how the audio turns out. That was our suspicion that maybe his old mic was broken. He's got a pop filter. It's on an arm. One of those the spring-loaded like lamp arms that can move out of the way like a real Twitch streamer.
Yeah,
He's
Mike
looking
is
good.
drumming on the desk and we can't even hear it.
Really?
Moving on up.
Mike. His
Let's hear
His-
your plosives. Can we get a
his
plosive
window
test?
light hitting his face. He really
Sibilance.
thought about where the light was going to be on this streaming platform, and we're not
It is
even
good
recording
light.
this.
It is good light too. Huh?
Yeah, you're looking sharp. All right,
Thanks,
so
bud.
Mike, but what we really want to know is how has your adventure been building this new PC gaming computer / work computer that you've built yourself?
Peaks and valleys. Valleys. So what I will say is that my personal computer ate the dust. Real quick, kind of funny story there. I got it really cheap off eBay, brand new, like 5
First
or 6
red flag.
years ago. Yeah.
Okay,
I did a lot of
flag.
research. Like, I didn't just like send it. Like, I went down a rabbit hole. I got ADHD obsessed with it. I obsessed over it, and then I got a good one. It was a brand new MacBook Pro, 16 gig i7. I got it like $900 off. And it worked fine. Like, I used it when I worked with Savon. Like, it worked. I had it for like 5 or 6 years, and suddenly it wouldn't. I couldn't connect it to monitors, which is obviously an issue in the setup. So I take it to the Apple store. They're like, we don't really know what to do, but it's only worth $200. First red flag against Apple. Like, Jesus Christ, I just got it 5 years ago, and it's $200. And they're like, it's going to cost $500 to fix it. So I don't know what you want to do.
Not worth it.
So she was like, you could take it home and factory reset it. And I was like, whatever, I'll try that. I take it home. I go to factory reset it. And when I boot it up, it does one of those remote authentication things. Like if you get a computer from work and it says, please sign into your Amazon employee account. I was like, oh.
Mike, are you an Amazon employee?
I am not an Amazon employee.
Uh-oh.
This is a podcast, so none of this can be incriminating us.
He's
It's
got
just,
all Jeff Bezos' secrets on that thing. That's
All right,
worth
get to the
millions.
computer.
I have some like
Yo,
stupid.
you've got RGB on this thing. It's looking like a real,
So
YouTube
anyway.
special. Tell us about it.
So I go to build so I'm like, okay, well, I need a new computer. I don't go anywhere. Like, I have a tablet, so I don't need a laptop. I certainly, like, the amount of money you could spend on a PC relative to a Mac is, like, so much better of a PC versus, like, a baseline Mac. So I was like, all
in
right,
terms
I'll
of
build a computer.
performance, but maybe not
Performance,
reliability. Yeah.
Well,
We'll see.
Apple is. Well, I mean, you want to talk about
Questionable.
reliability? Then
Yeah.
you have to go into Apple, and they f you up the B to fix it. Like
They
that's-
flower up your bed.
yeah. Anyway,
awesome.
so building a computer is an interesting process because I think everybody thinks the hard part is assembling it.
No, that's
or
easy.
not-
It's all plug and it's just it fits. It's
yeah,
like-
well, you have to do it properly. You can mess it up. Like, so there's a video. It's like an hour-long video of this guy who walks you through every part, and that was really great. So prior to that, I had no idea what to do, and that video really made it helpful. The hard part is absolutely picking the right parts, because you have to not only pick things that work for you, but things that are going to be compatible. So I have a bunch of friends that are very nerdy on the PC stuff, and they essentially pick the parts for me, kind of like working with me, like, what's your budget? Like, what kind of stuff do you want to do? So they did
What was
that.
your budget,
So
Mike?
it's like 1,500.
Oh, you get a really
Um,
good computer. Okay. Okay.
And what kind of stuff did you want to do besides 8K hentai?
Jeez. On the record here, blowing the
Yikes.
spot up.
Normalize what you love.
Yeah, we're not kink shaming.
No, we're not.
No
doing
shame.
that.
We're
You
not
like
kink
what you
shaming
like.
here. Well, okay, so first off, yeah, that is a good PC, but what does $1,500 get you in a Macbook? Like
Not
Um,
much.
base
A
one?
used
Almost
MacBook.
an
Yeah.
almost an iMac. No, just kidding. Almost a MacBook Pro.
You
Almost.
could get a Mac Mini with the M1 chip, maybe. And the
Maybe.
M1 chip is super powerful.
That
Yeah.
one's like
Well, I
700,
have one,
think.
and
The Mac Mini.
but if I was gonna anyway, so I can't even remember what my point.
So what did you want to do? Are you gaming? Are you
Oh,
photo
well,
what is
editing?
this
What
thing
are you-
for?
Programming.
So I'm recording this. I need to do a lot of things. So like my whole office is kind of one, or at least this desk is kind of like one big hub. Like everything's connected. So I have 2 studio monitors. When I mean like speakers, like kind of big speakers. I have a TV, 2 monitors, my work laptop, and my PC, and then I have an audio interface. So one thing I'm going to do is that you have to kind of have a computer. So the studio speakers have to go through the interface. So it's like you can't just connect stuff into them. You have to connect devices to them through the interface. So I needed something that can run that interface all the time and kind of keep that on. Through that, I'm going to hopefully be able to, because I don't want to have to buy a guitar amp. So what you could do is you can just get audio production software, get your tone in the software, and then you can play guitar through your computer, essentially. So rather than buying amps and pedals and stuff like that, I can do all that digitally, and I'm just going to pirate. Again, it's a podcast. This can't be incriminating. I'm just spitballing here. I theoretically could pirate audio software, and then essentially I have access to tons of different tones, so I could do that.
Trial
As
version, freeware. It's out there, Mike. Yeah.
Upstanding citizen Mike
I like
Smith
how you
would
said
never do that.
spitballing as if that's a cover. You said spitballing like that was some plausible.
I will see that FCC in court. So I need to do
As you
that.
can hear, Your Honor, spitballing. Really,
I wasn't really
like,
serious. I was just
It was just just
proposing.
throwing ideas, brainstorming. Really,
If I did it, this is how I would have done it. That's
Yeah,
all.
you
it
know.
was.
And then also gaming. So my PlayStation, my Xbox, and now my PC are all going to be plugged into. Well, the everything will be plugged into the TV, so I can use the computer on the TV, which is going to be cool because I can finally take advantage of the LG OLED properly.
But I
And
don't
then
think you
also-
need a 3060 Ti for Minesweeper, Mike.
I was laughing at all my buddies who were helping me because it's like every like true PC nerd, they play like indie games that like you could run on like a toaster. So it's like
Yeah.
I'll do some of that, but like I'm excited like at least for the PC and gaming wise, like to like Red Dead, like I can play it 70 frames per second now on the TV, same thing, you know. So it's like a lot of, I think most cross-platform games I'll probably end up getting on PC. Especially like stuff like Apex, or like, you know, if we play the new Warzone or whatever, stuff like that, like I could theoretically play with y'all on the computer versus the thing.
He's not
I
doing
know.
it.
theoretically, look.
Theoretically.
Theoretically.
No, I might.
spitballing. I'm just spitballing
itching.
here.
I've been itching for a cooperative first-person shooter. I just feel like Apex is so intimidating now to get into, but
You have a full
Um,
squad of competent people. You just don't want to play with us no more.
no, I do. I miss y'all a lot. I actually think about it
Wes.
a lot. I don't know why. I just don't smack your teeth at me.
I ain't seen this dude in months. This man
Alright,
talking about.
alright.
This
I
man
wanna
talking
be
about.
there.
I can't
I
wait to
wanna
build
be
my
there.
PC and game. You don't even want PlayStation with us no more.
I know.
You don't
know.
even be on this podcast
and
anymore.
we're good at Apex. Yeah, we talking about I'm gonna do all this gaming and podcasts, and we don't even game and podcast.
Yeah, why do you have that mic arm?
That's
Mike?
that's where the 8K,
That boy
you know,
said-
maybe the 8K hentai jokes was actually a cry for help here.
You're not.
I'm going down the rabbit hole.
This
boys.
sounds like an insult, Mike. You're not enough of a neck beard to be using all that shit. I say that.
No,
in
but look,
the best of terms.
look.
That is a good thing.
It's aspirational.
Once I get settled into a routine, it's all gonna come back. Like I don't want to be like this. Trust me. You think I want to be traveling everywhere? Y'all know me. I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to do anything. But life kind of is making me do. Apparently, adulting is cringy to say now, but adulting has been effing my bee lately. So, all of that to say, it's been a cool experience to bring it back to the PC thing. Assembling it was super fun. It's really just kind of like really complicated Legos that if you mess it up, like it's hundreds of dollars. But it was really cool. It's really fun. It's really satisfying. But what we were talking about before is like, I've been very unlucky, which is kind of just part of the shtick. Like, that it could just happen that way, and then B, it's just kind of there's some really annoying parts that are just kind of baked into the process. So I built the whole thing, then found out my motherboard was messed up, so I had to take it all apart, and then I had to get a new motherboard. But you could get all this stuff off Amazon, so it's kind of easy that way. Maybe that led to me getting a faulty product, but anyway. So all in all, I'm excited. I think it'll be good. I think once I actually get to use it and have a normal life back, it'll be cool. Assembling it was super fun. I don't know. I
And
think
you cable managed the hell out of it.
Yeah, the desk.
I didn't see any cables. It was clean.
Yeah, I'm very proud of my cable management. That's also been a big focus of mine. I got to practice on Anna's desk and then do it for real on mine. In fact, today when I finish my computer, I'm doing cable desk 2.0, doing some upgrades. Kari's coming to stay, so I got to get it straight for the boys. But yeah, I think it'll be cool. I think it'll kind of be the last thing I need, and then I can like actually now use all the stuff and not just like accumulate for no reason just to have. I'm like a hoarding dragon.
You're 100%. You're. I don't know what it is. There's gonna be a word to describe what this larger phenomenon with you is, because I know what it is in my brain, but I haven't quite landed on the language to verbalize it. But just
I'm
know
like,
that's in the oven right now.
It feels kind of like maybe I'm like nesting, you know, like I'm like a bird that just keeps leaving the little nest,
himself.
coming back with little like reeds but never actually being in there.
You're the person who cooks but doesn't want to eat. The person who builds something but doesn't want to use it. There's a word. There's something to describe what this is. Because when I watch it,
I like the ride. I like the journey. I like the journey.
But do you like the journey? Because we've talked about how I don't know if you like the journey either.
I think me getting worked up is just like is the
Part of
only
your
way.
Yeah.
No, I think it's just like
if you want to get worked up, you can play Apex with us. That's a group activity.
I'm going to. Oh my god. Me and
Wes. I'm looking at you, Wes.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right,
we'll see.
I can't even
Just
remember. What I was
spitballing.
gonna
Real
say.
milk and cigarettes energy, Mike. That's real. We're gonna go to Disneyland soon energy. That was 7 years ago, Mom.
I just have like Daniel
21
Day-Lewis.
now.
I'm gonna like just have like in a couple years, I'm gonna have that Daniel Day-Lewis and There Will Be Blood moment. I've abandoned my boy.
Yeah, don't talk about me watching Spider-Man. Why don't you hop on Apex? I'll watch Spider-Man when you turn on your PlayStation. Yeah.
All right,
that's the
let's
new
talk
pick.
about PlayStation.
Wow.
They just released a whole bunch of news, some updates. The PlayStation Plus subscription levels are live. No one cares. I don't know if anybody's actually bought into those.
I'm not doing it.
We're not going to talk about it. So the first big piece of news that Brian and Mike seem to be excited about, and I don't know about Savon's not excited about, I don't think. The Last of Us is coming out with a remake, or Naughty Dog is coming out with a remake of the original game that came out on PS3?
Three.
Is that right?
Yes,
three.
PS3.
Yeah.
They came out with a remake.
9
It's gonna be
years
ready.
ago.
9 years ago.
It's going to be ready for PS5. Brian and Mike, tell us about it. What do we need to know? Let's start with Brian.
No. We're not doing. Hang on, because we
What?
talked about this before
We
the
did talk
show.
about this before the
We
show.
did talk.
Well, what do you
about
wanna
this
talk about?
before. We're not.
You don't
want to
talk about this at all?
No, I thought you were gonna
no,
let me
I
handle
do.
it.
No, I do. Yeah, here. Let me give it a little. Because behind, I want to pull the curtain back.
The Wizard of Oz.
I am really close, folks, listening to the show, all 5 of you, to driving to Austin, which I love. I'm not going for disc golf. I'm not going for barbecue. I'm going to slap Wesley Nakamura across the face.
I would go just to watch that.
I'm
Right
wanting to
here.
Stone Cold stun him for months now.
Right here.
Why
RKO.
that is because Wesley is what we call selectively ignorant. He has chosen to just not kind of take knowledge we've given him and bring it into his brain. I also have a goldfish brain, but I can own that. The thing is, our friend and Wesley Nakamura, who put so much work into the show,
He's
great
amazing.
father, great husband, great educator, just willfully refuses to understand the difference between a remake and a remaster.
It's a spectrum.
It's not.
It's not. It's actually not.
Wikipedia'd it.
It's
It's a spectrum.
it's actually a binary.
No, it's
and
not.
here's the thing: I've explained it to you
I know, I
on this
forgot.
show.
I did forget.
I know, and you did forget, so it's okay. So
But-
I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
I'm not going to explain it again. Savon is going to explain it again, and we're going to talk about why we're excited. For
If
And
he
so-
remembers it this time, we'll know
Yeah.
who Wes
And
actually
also,
listens
so
to.
this is because of the bit
I'm not
with
going to
Wes.
remember it, but
No,
keep
it's
going.
cool. This is also for our listeners because some people who game legit don't know the difference between remasters and
All right.
remakes. That's a real conversation.
Okay, I'm listening.
So
100%
listeners
focused.
and Wes, when it comes to games come out, they exist. A lot of times we say, "Oh, wouldn't it be great if they like made this game modern or something of that nature?" Well, then you get into remakes and remasters. So there's a distinction. Let me start with what a remaster is. A remaster is when you take the original product, and this can actually apply to movies as well. Actually, is a decent
and
analogy.
music,
And music, right? That's actually a good analogy. Is when you take the original and you basically put a new shiny coat of paint on it. So it's if you took your 1987 Corvette and decided, hey, we're going to put some fresh paint on it, some new tires, some new rims, or just clean everything, make it look as pretty as possible.
Same
But
color.
Yeah, same color, but you're updating it, you're making it look pretty. But you're not really, you're prettying it up. So for a game, let's say Super Mario 64 comes out and they decide to remaster it. The game itself, so the levels, the gameplay, the core game experience is going to remain the same.
Okay, so
So
what'll
you'll be-
change?
So you'll be playing the same. The only thing that is different are the visuals are updated more. Sometimes they'll do some bug fixes from the original that they couldn't do because games didn't have patches back then. But the core gameplay is the same. There aren't necessarily new features added. Although sometimes there are. But if so, it still doesn't change the basics of the game or the core experience.
So it's
a-
a spectrum.
No, because some of that is more like bug fixes.
No, I know. Keep going. Keep going. All right, keep going.
And then you have a remake. A remake is when you take what the original game was and you take the core concept of it. So that might mean the character goes on an adventure across this desert to save the princess. The remake will still tell that same core story, but it has been remade from the ground up. So it's just it's like if someone took the idea and said, okay, this is what happens, cool. I'm gonna remake my own retelling of this or version of this.
Okay, so
knowing
how
that
different does it need to be to start getting into remake category?
when you have
You have
completely
to
created
use-
new assets, when
You-
it's new
exactly.
assets, everything is recreated from the ground up. So in the case of The Last of Us, which is what we're talking about now, the original game has actually been remastered. I actually own the remaster.
Yeah.
That's
the
the one I played,
rema-
actually.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
remaster just has better graphics. That's it. Nothing about the game
Runs better. Yeah.
Yeah, it's meant to be more optimized, run smoother, but the game itself, in terms of controls, all that are the same. A remake means that everything from environments to character models, sometimes even dialogue, depending on how much they're sending it, are completely redone. And so if you look at some of the models from actually The Last of Us 1, because I've been keeping up with some of this, and The Last of Us remake, even some of the characters, like a woman who's a bounty hunter. Does that name anything?
Yeah. There was that clip of her, and it looks
Nisha,
night
maybe?
and
Joel's
day.
friend. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
point is, they
she
show her
dies in
and
the
they show
beginning.
her in the PS3 version. Spoiler. And then they show her.
It's
cool.
9 years
It's cool.
old.
I know. I'm trolling, I know. They show her in the PS3 version, and then they show in the remake West, and it is two. It's not like one has slightly updated graphics. They made an entirely new character model. They actually did mocap work with the voice actress because they were doing the remake, because the technology didn't exist at the time. Another sign of a remake is you may have levels and sequences that still happen, but then the gameplay might actually look different. So you might have a tower sequence or a bridge sequence that exists in both games, the remake and the remaster. But for the remake, how it actually plays out may be entirely different because in the end, they're still making a totally new game. A fair example that could be comparable with movies is anytime you do like a reboot of a franchise.
I think
same story, same
Spider-Man,
beats, new production.
I think it's actually easier to explain like comparable wise with music. Actually.
Yeah, do it with music too. Same thing.
So
they clean up the
like,
tracks, they clean up the stuff, and then another one they just go
For
back in the
sure.
studio and say, "Hey, here's the song. We're just gonna do it again."
Taylor
So
Swift.
it's like, yeah, that would be
Yeah.
a remake. Great example, Brian. So it's like,
You're welcome.
how do they remaster Beatles albums now? Is because they still have all the original tracks, Wes, right? Like they have like those guys went in, they recorded their parts, and we have those tracks. You can remaster it because we can take those original takes and be like, let's put a little more reverb on it. Like let's EQ it a little bit. You can't remake a Beatles record now because you don't have John Lennon to go in and play that part again. So you can remaster things. You take the original content, you shiny it up, as Savon says. A remake requires going in and actually doing it again. The reason it's exciting for this game is because the gameplay in Last of Us 1 is so dated, and the gameplay of Last of Us 2 is beyond not dated. It's probably one of the best examples of melee combat we have right now. So taking that amazing story, that amazing level design, that amazing plot, and redoing it with the visuals from 2, with the actual gameplay mechanics of 2, is I think why people are so excited about this. Another remake coming out I think people are really excited about is Knights of the Old Republic, right? Because that game is beyond dated. That game is like point and click, like
RPGs, the point and click
yeah,
RPG.
Yeah, I don't even know. What did that come out on? Like Xbox One, right? But it was like primarily like Windows XP.
When you say
or
Xbox One,
whatever.
you mean original Xbox.
Yeah. Jeez, see how bad that naming is?
Yeah, it was awful. Yeah, that's why I was like, it's not your fault, Mike.
The first
was them.
Xbox.
No, that's actually that's actually another great example. That's probably a really drastic one that's easy to kind of wrap your brain around, which is Knights of the Old Republic being so simple, and then whatever this new version that's still going to be a remake, but it's going to be so fundamentally different despite having similar beats and larger plot structure.
I mean, the Final Fantasy VII remake
Yep.
is another
good
clear example. Like,
Yeah.
I think that was a PS1 game, right? And
Yeah.
turn-based combat, they completely they took the story and then they just changed all the guts, right? It's a total gut renovation. The gameplay is completely different. Now it's more of an action RPG. Still all the same story beats, same locations, but they completely remade them and made it look like and play like a PS4 game. I think maybe, Wes, where you might be struggling is with all the news about The Last of Us remake is only showing you the graphic side of thing.
Yeah.
Right. And so it looks like it's just a touch-up, a repolish, right? That's all we're able to see. But what they're not showing you exactly in these trailers is how the gameplay is changing, how they're using, the haptics and the controllers, and how
AI.
they're probably, how the AI is going to function differently. And probably, I bet the menus, the HUD, the how you switch amongst your different weapons and the different positions you can take to fire a weapon, all that kind of stuff, I bet is going to be more closely aligned to The Last of Us 2.
No, it's going to be
than
the
the
same
original
thing.
The Last of
It's
Us,
going to
right?
be the same mechanics.
Absolutely. And so all of that is going to be a vast different play experience from the original The Last of Us.
So are you going to play it? Are you planning on playing it, Brian?
So this is a question though. It was only 9 years ago that I played the first Last of Us. And I think the remake is going to cost as much as a regular PS5 game, like $70. And it doesn't have the multiplayer that the original game had.
Is that confirmed? Because they're coming out with the multiplayer.
Yeah, because they're coming out with a separate multiplayer game.
Yeah, it's going to be its own thing.
You think it's going to be $70?
Probably. It's a full price game. It's totally new from the ground up. Like, why wouldn't it be?
Game, yeah.
I guess, Demon's Souls.
It's a totally new thing. Like,
yeah,
it's the same story structure, but everything else they're doing from the ground up. So it is a new experience.
So I am excited for this. I definitely want to.
Will you get it on sale?
I don't know if I'm going to be like a first day kind of buyer.
But you'll get it on sale.
I'll get it on sale. Wait till it comes down in like maybe $50 or something. Maybe I'll wait till I have a PS5. Maybe that's the right strategy.
You and Mike on the same energy here. Maybe when I get a PS5. Maybe when I log in and play Apex with y'all.
So, I'm gonna play today. I'm gonna play Apex today, and you get that swear for free, bud.
For free.
Then the real question is. So it's actually you because normally I rag on Savon for not playing games. You've tried this, and I don't think it's like you don't want to. I think you're just scared, huh?
Oh yeah, some of the like survival horror elements are
just
a little
too
bit
much.
It's just
so
like,
you're not. Are you gonna play it?
Oh, it's going to be way scarier. On
yeah,
PS5.
it's going to be way more stressful.
Yeah,
I
sure.
I think this is going to fall into just that Resident Evil category of, hey, I recognize it's a good game. I know that the gameplay is good. I can acknowledge what it's good at, but it's not for me, and I'll probably just watch it on YouTube.
Okay.
Because I've heard nothing but amazing. I've heard it's one of the greatest stories ever, and
do you know how the first one ends? I
have like some vague things because spoilers throughout life. But like if I watch, but hey, hold on. But
it's
if
like the biggest mic drop of that generation.
I know.
Sure.
But if I sit and like watch it from the beginning, like even like today, I'm not.
I think you should play it. I think you should try it.
It's a good game.
You just get hung up on the horror parts.
It's literally just there's survival horror elements that are just a little too stressful for my taste.
Yeah,
and I don't get to be enough of a badass in order to balance that out. Like if a game's gonna have me be
in 2,
like,
I think
odds,
here's the thing.
Game, like I had a pistol, bro. I had like 7 bullets, a brick, and a 2x4. I was like, what the hell is this?
If you want a game that makes
I need to be strapped if you're gonna put me in these kind of situations.
No, bro, but here's the thing. In 2, like just because the melee combat is so good and like the gunplay itself isn't great, but the way like people react to getting shot, like you really do feel like you're like an absolute force like on the battlefield. I think you should try it. I think you should. I think you will get enough of like the, oh my God, I just absolutely brutalized that person. Like I feel a little better. I just like,
God of War does that for me.
I know, but
The
Last of Us 2 does as well. Like when you really like just the mechanics of the melee combat are just so by in a way like the best in the world that I think that gap for you would be filled. I'm not going to pressure you on this one because it is horror and like, when this came out, Curry texted it to me. He said, I think I'm ready to be hurt again. And I don't think I am. Like, The Last of Us 2 is my favorite game of all time. And I don't know if I'm going to play this one.
It's just too much horror, that's all.
It's not just, for me, it's not the horror. It's, at least with 2, it wasn't so much like the monster scary. It was the human scary and the sad.
Right.
And
the emotional gut punch.
Yeah, that game stuck with me for like a month. And I don't know if I'm ready to go back to that.
So the thing, I'm kind of on board with you, Mike. The thing that I'm actually more excited for is the Last of Us multiplayer, standalone multiplayer game. Yes. If you remember Factions in the first game, it was actually a ton of fun. Yeah. Because of just like what Savon said, you only got 7 bullets and a 2x4. What are you going to do with it? Like that is a really fun element for multiplayer. And then I'm somebody who doesn't really engage in multiplayer a lot. So the Last of Us one, the one that's coming out, has its own standalone story. It's not using any of the characters from the main games. I think it takes place in a completely new location in the Last of Us universe. And so I'm really excited to see where they take it. And the fact that they've made it a standalone game tells me that they have really put a lot into this to make it worth its own weight.
And I don't know if y'all been around the past few years, but Naughty Dog does not have a lot of misses. So I'm very excited for that. I didn't play Factions because I wasn't aware of Last of Us until way later on. I think when Factions kind of wasn't live anymore. So I think it has a lot of potential, and I'll be interested to see how a studio that's only really made single player games really leans into standalone multiplayer.
Horizon?
Ooh, the other thing that came out.
So there is some other news that kind of came out. There's a whole bunch of stuff. Pick what you want. We already talked about PS Plus tiers went live. Horizon Call of the Mountain, which is a virtual reality setup of some sort.
Wait, sorry. Before Savon, because we should talk about that, because, I'd love to get on record Savon talking about the game that I was on record convincing him to play. But before that, like 1 minute, I have no idea the PS Plus tiers because I've been in my hole trying to get my life together. Can someone explain to me in 1 minute, like, what are the different tiers and should I upgrade?
You do not need to upgrade. The tiers provide different levels of service. Most of it has to do with access to classic series. So the second highest tier of service gives you access to a bunch of just free games you can get downloaded for like the 5 that are.
So it's just Game Pass.
Hold on. And you get, I guess it's Game Pass, and I guess you get PS4 games. And then if you have the highest tier one, you get access to a bunch of downloadable PS4, PS3, I think even PS2, PS1 era games. So the tiers are good if you want to play lots of old school classics and then also get a bunch of free, basically like big flagship PS5 games.
Are there good PS5 games on it?
Like it's games that we play and talk about on the pod. Like it's some big dog games.
I think if you move to the second tier, you can get.
I know they have like Guardians of the Galaxy.
It was like. Yeah, so stuff that like games that we have played, so you probably have them. But if you're someone who doesn't have them, the service makes sense to get because you just get a bunch
How much more expensive is it?
Not a lot.
Like Google.
$5 more.
I think it's $5.
It probably adds up to like an extra $100 a year or something like that if you get the
Don't
highest
come
tier.
here for information, folks. Just hot takes.
I mean, I could have had that ready. I just didn't think we were going to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, all right, never mind.
It's all right.
It's your fault, Wesley. You're the producer.
Do your own research out there, friends. Look into it. But I do think it didn't really seem worth it for us or for
Not
me.
for us.
Yeah, it didn't.
It's good if you like old school games. Like if you're someone who's a throwback gamer who just loves to play old games and you don't care about all the newfangled stuff, you just want to play the games you played when you were younger. This is 100% worth every penny. But that's not really us.
You don't think like the concept has kind of come out in practice as much as Game Pass has? Like it's not actually kind of.
I mean, Game Pass also has newer games. Like they drop day one releases onto Game Pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is specifically for nostalgia people.
All right, so PS Plus tiers went live a few days ago. Horizon Call of the Mountain VR2. I don't think we have the VR2 headset yet, or
no, not yet.
Hardware yet, but they've announced that it's coming, and they're gonna. This might be their flagship launch title that they're pairing with it. But Horizon Forbidden West also updated with New Game Plus this week, and I know Savon's been itching to check that out.
Mm-hmm.
This weird stray cat game called Stray.
Oh, I'm so pumped for that.
I'm looking forward to that.
I am so pumped for that. That looks so cool. Why are you rolling your eyes? Why are you rolling your eyes?
You're gonna get to talk about what you want to talk about. Let me get through the effing list. Street Fighter 6. There's this weird game that's described as a dating action game called Eternights, or like Eternal plus Nights, so Eternights. It looks weird. There's a new Final Fantasy coming. God of War Ragnarok is coming. So a bunch of stuff just got kind of announced, previewed again. Is there anything that's, tickling your fancy here? Mike, do you want to go first? You seem somewhat excited about Stray.
I'm so excited about. I mean, I don't know enough actually about the game to talk about it, other than that you got to play as a cat, and it seems like it's a cool world, and you got to do parkour as a cat. What are you talking about, Savon? How are you?
You got so hyped up and you said, "Well, actually, I don't really."
Yeah, well, I don't know enough.
You was doing flips off the wall, and then as soon as Wes asked you for some follow up, you just was like,
yeah. Well, look, I'm excited about it. The passion is there, but I don't I can't talk about the game other than you play as a cat, and everybody likes cats.
Yeah.
But I am interested. Are you playing the New Game Plus, Savon? The Horizon New Game Plus?
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay.
New Game Plus is like a defining element for any single player story for me. If you're going to let me level up and be this dope thing, I need to be able to play through the game being dope from the beginning. Nothing upsets me more than fighting an early game boss, and that's before you've hit your final form.
You don't feel OP, though? It doesn't seem boring?
I jacked the difficulty up.
Did you do the high? Because I know they added a new difficulty.
I mean, I do what I think. I do what I think is fun. I think the problem with some games that the highest difficulty turns into enemies just being health sponges, and I'm like,
sponges,
okay, it's not fun. So point is, I make it as hard as I think is fun, to where it's like I have my full toolkit. I can experience the game a second time and appreciate the themes again, and now I get to be gangster and instead have to worry about.
Do you get it? Can I say a spoiler? I can say a spoiler of the first game, right? Do you get to keep the bird?
I was reading, once you get to the mountain, after you do basically the opening intro prologue of the game, once you get to the original mountain, yes, you do have the bird for the majority of the game.
Oh, that'd be cool.
So it's a good quality of life bit.
I've never done a New Game Plus one.
They let you change your armor. If an action game doesn't have New Game Plus, I just might not even get it. Like that ruined Cyberpunk.
That's
more than
such a
anything else.
Savon thing. Oh my god!
I played. Didn't I say months ago? Like, hey man, I'm gonna wait for that New Game Plus to eventually come out, and then I'm gonna hop right back in. Didn't I say that months ago?
did.
And
So,
guess what?
how-
As soon as
but
I
like,
found out,
How does that?
Okay.
How is that
So
a deal
obviously
breaker?
that was a big thing in Elden Ring. So how far did you get in Elden Ring on your second? Because that's multiple playthroughs is actually baked into the larger process.
I'm pretty far into my second Elden Ring playthrough.
Yeah.
Like on both of those, I played to experience the narrative and then become really cool and fleshed out build, and then I want to experience the game with my completed build a second time. But if you don't even give me the opportunity, that legit takes away from a game because I'm less invested in building my character. Because now all my in-game stuff, I can barely use it because I'm at the end of the game.
You know, I understand it. I don't agree with it, but I understand
But
it.
also, I can't just play a game once. Like I'm not gonna be someone who plays a game once and then it's done.
I
So,
finish a
which people
game
are
and
different.
I put it away, and 99 times out of 100, I never touch it
Me
again.
too.
Yeah.
For me,
80
that,
hours on one game, that's
That's
plenty.
enough.
I don't buy a game if I don't intend on like replaying it multiple times.
It's like, did you did someone write out these rules for you to live your life by? And
No,
I'm
I'm just a
they're
reflective person.
No,
I'm just reflective, so I recognize and think about what I like about things, so I can make better decisions.
That's what I was saying. It's like it's well thought out. You have your reasoning and your arguments.
Like for me, it's a waste of money to buy a game, spend $65 on a game, play it once, and then
and
never
only
touch
play it
again.
once.
For me, Apex, I've gotten I put way more money into Apex than
yeah.
other games, but I've gotten so
Yeah.
many hours out of it.
Yeah,
that it's worth it
sure,
by
sure,
like a long
sure.
mile.
Sure.
Compared to I bought Breath of the Wild.
I think
finished
I've
it,
put like
that's
$20
$70
into
wasted.
Apex.
See, for me, I value time, gameplay I get out of it. That's what I value most.
Savon's hour to dollar ratio must be ridiculously high. Like 20 hours to the dollar.
20? No, way more than that. But Savon keeps his hours played secret, so we'll never be able to actually do that math.
I mean, point is that if I get a game, I'm gonna get a lot
No,
of time
but-
out of it.
But
And that's not a
80
weird way
hours
to
in a
play.
single playthrough or a 100-hour Witcher playthrough is a good amount.
Oh no, like for Witcher,
That's
I
bang
love
for your
Witcher.
buck, man.
Like Witcher was amazing.
$65
This dude
game?
said no.
Witcher was amazing. I had the most fun with Witcher when I was New Game Plus in it. That was when it was that for me.
I
the
don't
peak
thi- I-
experience is the
I
Plus experience.
don't disagree with that, or I understand that, but I don't see how one playthrough, if there isn't New Game Plus, it's a deal breaker. I mean, I get it. I get your argument,
We
but
played
it's just
it's
that's
because we play those games for
ridiculous.
different reasons. You play to finish the story. I play
I
to
think
build my
we
character.
live life for different reasons, Savon.
I didn't ask to be
All
there.
right,
I'm just along for the
Brian,
ride.
what are you interested in?
Same, absolutely same. You know, it's that's why I always
Sorry,
say
Wes, I know we're off
Savon
track.
is
I'm sorry.
perfectly crafted to just be like my foil. Like, what is more polar opposites than a short, chubby Jew from New York and a tall,
Don't
lanky
even.
black man from southern Louisiana? Like, me
Oh
and Savon are a literal yin and yang.
But it's not just surface level. It's up
Deep.
a soul level.
It
Yeah.
really
It runs
is.
deep.
I
y'all
used
are
to
the weird
say
ones.
I'm an atheist, but Savon makes me believe in God because I can't believe someone so perfectly crafted to irritate me could just appear on this earth.
Savon
Oh, my
really
fault.
took advantage of me though this week with our different philosophies and ideologies around
Wait, what did
gaming.
I do?
So I was playing as his character he likes to play in an Apex. Her name is Rampart. She's just a very tough
You
it out
can't take
character.
Rampart. Even I know that.
No. I was playing on my own. I wasn't playing with Savon.
Oh, okay.
And I
It's
was
like
telling
playing
him-
Loba.
I was telling
Tyler
him,
will quit
that
the
I was having some success. I was channeling my inner Savon as best as possible. And, he was like, let me tell you some tips and tricks for her. And so he's proceeding to tell me, she's a fairly defensive character. And he was like, when you got that Sheila loadout that they've buffed her with, now I really use her offensively. You better be pushing into buildings, capitalizing on
I love
on
this
cracks.
impression right now.
And I'm, Savon has very often, when me and him talk about things, just come from a completely different angle where I'm like, well,
Oh, yeah.
I don't, that's just not how I think about things. And so I'm thinking he's being legit, he's being genuine, and telling me, how he thinks about playing playing as Rampart, and he's just going on and on for maybe 2 or 3 minutes. Our buddy Tyler is in the chat, and just like he had to turn himself on mute because I'm like, I don't know, Savon, if that really works. And he was like, no, trust me, like that's the meta right now. And then finally, after a while, he just breaks character and starts laughing at me. And I'm like, bro, I was really trying to listen to you and like trust you here,
Tyler,
and you just
came off of
a
mute.
shame.
Tyler
Stepped
came
on
off
my-
of mute and said, Savon, I can't let you do this any longer. Wesley's messing with you.
What a shame.
Because me and Tyler have had conversations.
You
in the
know,
past
like,
where
I
said,
feel like-
I'm gonna sabotage other people so that they don't use my main. I was just like,
Christ.
people gonna use Rampart because of the buff. Let me just make sure I just actively sabotage people so that they play poorly and then don't want to use her, and then I can keep using her.
You know, I
And
think
Tyler just absolutely was like, I have to put it into this.
The long con.
It was good.
It's
I was
He went on
convincing.
and on.
I was convincing. I sold that.
me and Savon like are on some spectrum of like dogmatism, right? Like we just have
I'm sorry,
absolutely
Wes.
like dig our feet in the ground, think of things one type of way, and like that's it. Wesley's just like off the spectrum, just like wandering around somewhere, lost, forget where he came from. And then Brian is just the only one here that actually like thinks about things. I feel like all of us are just like, this is the way it is, and it's just gonna be that way.
I trust other people. I like to be empathetic. I try to
I
see
do
things
those
from
things.
other people's point
No,
of
you
view.
don't.
I trust
No, you
people.
I don't
Don't.
think so at all.
No, you
Mr.
We're
don't.
talking about Wes?
No,
Remasters on a
yeah.
spectrum or whatever.
Oh no, Wes just like is.
I don't
yeah,
think Wes be trolling.
Wes is just chaos. Wes is just
not even
chaotic
true.
neutral. You are just absolutely
Wes,
chaotic.
I don't think you
neutral.
realize how many people who are unrelated to each other all have multiple scratch their head moments at some of your takes. All of us. It happens with Kendall and Tyler. Like, these are people who don't even all know each other, and it's all just like, hold on, wait, what? What's going on, B? It's okay, but come on, you got to be honest. Like,
I don't agree with that.
it's okay.
Brian,
We still love you.
anything stand out for you? Thanks for your love.
I don't agree with people's perceptions of me either. Wes.
I don't.
So we're all good.
Brian.
What was the question?
Oh, is there
Brian.
a question?
Yeah.
Does
Yeah,
anything
what are-
stand? Like, are you excited about any of these?
I mean, I'm excited to get a PS5 someday.
Yeah, what's good with? Are you still actively trying? Like,
I-
what is
Someone
the-
sends
so
him
what
I
money,
is
he
the-
check-
does it.
I check this Discord every now and again for drops and whatever. I am not actively pursuing this.
Yeah, it can't be that hard now.
I mean,
Can
it's
I
still
don't got the
is.
emotional
It still
capacity,
is.
bro. That is hard.
You still got to show up when the drop happens and like
Yeah.
snatch it. Cross your fingers, cross your toes, do all that kind of like magic, and then hope you get one. But I keep missing the drops. I'm just like, I don't know. I'm a little demoralized. But I will say the PS5 news is kind of titillating, if you will. The thing that caught my attention a lot was actually the Horizon Call of the Mountain VR2. I'm really looking forward to the day when VR games are actually worth playing and VR set is amazing and an incredible experience. Like in our imagination, right? VR should be fucking bonkers and wild and the best experience ever, but it just hasn't been for its entirety of existence. It's just like a silly headset. You look like an idiot and you're walking around and doing nothing. But the Horizon Call of the Mountain game kind of looks pretty cool because I mean, it's the Horizon world and you're seeing, I don't even remember the names of these robots, but they're coming right at you. And I don't know how they can make the gameplay though feel solid in that situation, but I have faith that someday they'll figure it out. But at least the Horizon setting is really interesting and cool.
Yeah.
Like usually these VR games are like, what IP is that? Like why did they make the environments look that way? Like this is just a waste of everybody's time. So at least you're getting Horizon in this, and you get to experience the world in that first person perspective.
Do y'all
So,
like VR
that looks
games?
cool.
Because
Well, I
VR feels
had a
really
VR.
intense for me. Yeah, and I tried it with yours, and it felt really intense. I
It
don't
is
know,
intense.
but that's been years. But that's also been several years. But what is y'all experience with just VR gaming? Because maybe this is me becoming an old person and saying, "No, I just want a controller and a TV." But
So
does
I
it
have
feel
one.
like a gimmick, or does it feel Does it feel
Or
too
I had
gimmicky
one.
to be something you consistently indulge in?
I think
Can I-
it still feels too gimmicky with like all the swinging motions and moving around, right? They haven't figured out how to get the gameplay on par
False.
with a controller.
All right, let me, because I had one, but I actually gave it away to friend of the show and co-star Will Katz.
Will
so I had
Katz.
one. I had the PSVR one. The thing is, like, I think the real good ones are all just for computer. But I think the PSVR 2 is kind of following the same concept of the PS5, where it's like the hardware is really optimized to work well together. So I think it's going to lend itself to actually being a mainstream competitor in the VR space. I think you're largely right, Brian. A lot of it is kind of gimmicky and corny. But at the same time, also Savon is right. And like, it can be really intense. Like, Resident Evil 7 VR is the movie, TV show, game is the scariest thing I've ever experienced in my life. Period. Like,
I
I
just
couldn't
pay
even,
someone to just murder me.
I couldn't even,
That's the case.
I couldn't even play it. It was so scary. Like, Beat Saber is a really amazing experience, but I think also with what Savon said, like, I never was just sitting by myself like, oh, I'm going to take out my VR and play right now. Like, it turned into a party trick essentially, and I would only bring it out to like scare people during parties. Not even a flex. No, it was fun. It's a fun thing. It's like a game to do at parties, like bringing out a board game. I was like, oh, let's all play.
That's a flex, Mike.
How is that? I'm not bragging. Maybe I.
No, but
maybe...
it's like, hey, look at this cool techno party thing we can all do. It's fun. That's
Yeah,
still good. It's not a bad thing, but it's like, hey, that's different than, hey, let's all play some Apex at this party.
Yeah, for sure. So it's like getting everyone to play Beat Saber was fun, and like scaring my buddy like with the Resident Evil, like we'd always like draw straws, and the loser had to play the game.
But is it enjoyable?
Or maybe if you got kids.
In a
Or
group
maybe if you got kids, it could be fun.
No, because not everybody can play at the same time.
Yeah, is
no,
it
but you
enjoyable
can
in a
all.
group setting?
Yeah.
Not everybody
Oh,
can
for
play
sure.
and,
It's hilarious because you see on the TV what's on the headset. So when they're playing Beat Saber, everybody's kind of like hanging out, vibing to the music, or everybody's laughing at you doing the horror thing. So a lot of the times it was. Would I want to sit and watch someone play like VR Skyrim for an hour? No, but like the actual like kind of fun party stuff was really cool. But I think in terms of being like a actual like daily use or like regular use thing, like it's just not there yet. And so I think maybe the core of it, you're right, Brian, is kind of the corny gimmicky stuff. But I think the ceiling of it is kind of what Savon is saying. Like, it can be really powerful. So I think it's just one of those things that's gonna like, grow over time. Like, Last of Us 2 messed me up for a month. I don't think Pong really like devastated anybody for any period of time back in the day. So like, this is kind of where it is. So it's interesting that it stuck out to you that way. I think it's also like, it can be very creative in unique ways. And I think like for people like you that are visually creative minded, it can be an interesting thing, and it's not there yet, but I think VR2 might be a real competitor.
Yeah, so new Street Fighter. I never was a huge Street Fighter player growing up. I was more of like a Namco game, so I play a lot of Soul Calibur, Tekken. I used to play a lot of the Marvel vs. Capcom games. But Street Fighter still, they consistently put out great fighting games. Despite how long the series has been around, they have an extremely loyal fan base. So I've never been super deep into Street Fighter, but from what I've seen with the game, they do a really good job of innovating generation to generation. And so curious to see, all right, like we have a real next gen big name fighting game. What are they gonna do? What's gonna be different? I feel like fighting games by design don't benefit as much from the next gen technology because they're more gameplay than visual focused. So, Capcom's been going strong with the series for decades now. What are they gonna do to kind of want to still stay a staple fighter? I might get it. And then God of War. Like, I think they confirmed we're getting it this year. We're getting it this year.
No, I thought they said 2023.
I thought I was hearing more stuff from Jaffe that it would be this year. Maybe I'll have to like double check on that.
I'm wrong. Oh no, you're right. My bad. 2022.
Okay, yeah, it is 2022. Okay, yeah, so I thought. So yeah, I'm very excited. I've been playing the God of War series since the original God of War on PS2. It's one of the closest franchises to my heart, and I've loved what they did with the most recent one, making it a modern, mature, narrative-driven game. I can't wait to see what happens next with the story and just how they've been building out this world. But
for once, a cold take from Savon.
Well, I mean, for me, this is me being hyped for something because, like, you know, there's not a lot of games where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna just get this immediately. Like, I'll pre-order God of War, like straight up. Like I said, I've bought pretty much every game in that franchise for the last 10, if not almost 13 years. So
That kid's annoying.
I'm ready. Wes, you
No,
have a
he's
kid.
not.
If you don't think that your child at that age, for whatever reason, isn't gonna be annoying, and I don't know what to tell you. Kids
Just
are
'cause-
annoying, bro.
Just because kids are annoying doesn't mean they have to be in the media we consume. Like, does little Princess Leia have to be that annoying? Princess
First
Leia?
of all, Atreus is an awesome character. Watching him be bratty and then actually have character growth is sick. I'm actually replaying God of War right now. I was playing the other day, and
Maybe
I'm
I
at the
haven't
scene
seen
where
the growth yet.
I'm literally
I
at
stopped
the
playing.
scene where he apologizes to Brock and Sindri because he's like, "Hey, straight up, I was a real jerk. I was acting entitled because of this. I'm sorry." And they're like, "Hey, we forgive you."
The
I'm like,
character
all right.
develops amazing.
It
I
was
didn't get to that
beautiful.
part yet.
Oh,
In my
yeah.
mind, he's still a jerk.
In New Game Plus, are you allowed to beat his ass?
With your fire blades.
That's part of
Good.
being OP, right?
Good God, y'all, man, Wes, look, don't F up around Wes because once he's decided, you just no chance to show you could change.
I think he had a
Also,
long time.
Leia is not annoying, but I'm excited to talk about Obi-Wan and explain why.
Yeah. All right. So we're not going to talk about Top Gun. So I'm giving the viewers, the listeners, some homework. Go watch Top Gun Maverick. Come back and listen. This is also homework for Savon and Mike to go to the theater, experience the just sound, the visuals. It's kind of fun.
God
Don't
bless
Don't go
America.
for the story. It's not the best story you've ever heard. Go for the visuals. Just enjoy yourself. We'll also be talking about Obi-Wan the next time we get together. The end of that series will have happened by the time we record next. So hopefully everybody else who's listening out there will also be watching it, except Miles, who apparently gave up on it. Sorry, Miles, friend of the show. I also want to see
I had
Bullet
a couple
Train.
friends give up on that show.
I've seen. Well, he actually
Obi-Wan.
gave up on Star Wars the entire
Gave up
thing.
on Obi-Wan.
Well, he no.
I know
Yeah,
a couple
I
people
know
who
a
do not
number of
like
people
it.
that said
Yeah,
that.
I know a few.
Yeah, he watched it and he
What?
was like, "I'm giving up on Star Wars altogether." He's
What?
not sure. I don't know.
What do you want?
Let's all give up on
Oh
Star
my
Wars.
God. Yeah, let's all
I'm down
just
with that.
give up on life and the small joys.
All right,
of-
well, we'll talk about that when we come back next time. And Bullet Train, I kind of want to see it. It looks funny.
What is
It's my kind of
Bullet Train
humor.
looks good.
Ugh, take
What
us
is Bullet
out,
Train?
Wes.
All right,
We're
friends,
not
hit us
doing
up
this
on
right
at
now.
confidently_pod on Instagram. Look for the stories, respond to them. Let us know what you're thinking, what you're enjoying. We're out. Stay cool. Have some ice cream. It's hot. Bye.
Bullet Train is some stupid, like, studio action movie. It's like, oh, Brad Pitt was an assassin.
Incredible!